Hello, my name is Jace Butcher. I'm going to be presenting for homework number 1 in the class SER 416 Spring B session. So today I'm going to go over the spiral model starting on slide number 6 within my PowerPoint. If you're following along, that is going to be titled Spiral Key Characteristics. So the overview of the spiral model is basically that it is an adaptation of the waterfall model. There are key differences, which I'll go over shortly, but it is an adaptation of that waterfall model. So a lot of the key characteristics it does inherit from that. Just keep that in mind as we're going through the presentation. So the key difference here between the spiral model and the waterfall model is that it has a spiral software approach, which means that it can adapt later on in the development process. It can adapt requirements, stages, and structure as well. That happens, like I said, later on in the development process. This is the main key difference to understand between the waterfall model, but it does contain separate linear stages, just like the waterfall model does as well. So it does boast a lot of the strengths, but also kind of supercharges some things such as adaptability and change, which a lot of companies and entities require. However, it does come with some disadvantages too, which we'll go over in a few slides. Moving on to slide number 7, which is spiral strengths. Number 1 is adaptability. Like I said, requirements change. If you're using the waterfall model, you're not really able to adapt requirements that are set early on in the process. But with spiral, requirements and structure are set early on in the design phase and the planning phase. However, you can go back later on and still change these requirements, which is a huge strength of the spiral and why a lot of government entities and businesses use this model. The structure and the requirements are still decided early on, just like the waterfall model. However, it's better tailored for software specifically, because I think if anyone's gone through and developed any large piece of software, you understand that rewriting requirements is sometimes necessary. So that is the biggest strength, as well as it inheriting a lot of the waterfall model strengths, such as structure, linear stages, etc. Moving on to some of the disadvantages within the spiral model. Number 1 is expenses, and these expenses don't come from any inherent structure of the spiral model other than, like I said, the adaptability towards the end. And this is because if you spend a ton of time on development, you move into the 3rd or 4th stage and now you're rewriting and redefining requirements. This is going to cost capital, developers time, management time, which is disadvantage number 2. And all these things are basically resources. It's going to cost resources to change these things, which is a risk, which is bullet point number 4. And this is why success varies, which is number 3. All these disadvantages kind of lump into one fact that changing requirements at the end of the project or halfway through does cost, and it's not a free operation in software terms. So the best uses, according to the book, for the spiral model would be a large government project. This is because it boasts the same quality assurance of the waterfall, and this is because the early planning stages are used to make sure requirements and stages are set prior to development. However, a lot of government entities need to change software projects midway through. This could be to new laws or legislations, and so this spiral model will hold that adaptability that is needed from a government, for example. And that's why I think this would be the best use for the spiral model. However, lots of companies use it for large legacy programs as well as new age technology as well. So the best use would be government, but it really can be used in many software projects. Thank you very much for watching.